Hello everybody, welcome back, and I am the Jornica. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about the finale of Ash versus Cynthia. Oh my goodness, it's over. It's a wrap for this legendary fight that people have been looking forward to for over, like, how long? Since Diamond and Pearl? And I could safely and happily say that it's definitely in my top 10 Pokemon battles of all time. I think it's one of the best. I would still say Ash vs. Kukui is the best, to be honest, but it's up there. It's up there. It's arguably could be in the top 5. It's very good. There's some critiques though I have with it. Some ways it could have been better, of course, but overall I could see the love and the passion that they put into this battle, the kind of love and passion that we would want them to put in this kind of battle, you know, him fighting these champions, him fighting Steve and fighting Cynthia, especially because of the connection with the Diamond and Pearl and talking to her and having episodes with her, you know, in the past. It was like Steven, this was like the first time you really talked and met with him. The first part we had Pikachu and Spiritomb, which is why we liked the first part. Those two were just amazing in the first part of the battle. And then in the second part of the battle, our feelings kind of went out to both Dracovic and Sirfetch'd and the amount of effort they put into their fights. We honor and respect them, of course. That emotional aspect is what made the second part great. And then we had this final part. And the first kind of critique I have, obviously, is that, you know, Lucario was born yesterday. And we even saw the flashbacks with Cynthia and Garchomp when they were young and everything, and I'm like, oh no, flashbacks, you know what that means, they're gonna win. You know what I mean? Because usually when people start having flashbacks, it's like, no, it means they're gonna like come through with some unknown power and win. But we already kind of knew that Cynthia was gonna lose. But you know, when you have like a Garchomp that was born like 20 plus years ago, and Lucario's able to beat that even though he's like fresh out of the egg, like this series, you know what I mean, and becoming this powerful. And I guess that Aura Bond is just crazy strong, because I mean they even showed Greninja when they were in that kind of aura form too, which I did not expect them to do that. So awesome. That actually made me love this episode even more, just because the Greninja sensed their bond from all the way out there, and they decided to put her, because when that part came up and, you know, the blue outline came over both Lucario and Ash, I was like, oh my goodness, what if they show Greninja? Like, please show Greninja all of a sudden, like sensing it or something. And they did, and I'm like, oh my god, thank you, because that's the exact same thing that happened with Ash and Greninja. They would go into that like blue state where they would be connected to one another, and like the water dropping and everything. I'm like, please show Greninja, and they did. They didn't have to. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say they didn't have to. They definitely had to. That was awesome. I'm happy they did that. But when Lucario defeats a Dynamax Togekiss, and that was really the main big fight of this battle, even in the end, even though, you know, Garchomp and Lucario were basically just exchanging blows at the end. Not anything too fancy. I mean, that was it. They were just boxing. Like, that was their fight. So after like the mega powerful blows happening with the Aura Bond attack and the max airstream and all the speed, and most of the time went into the Togekiss fight, but Lucario barely came out of that with a victory, and then went on to defeat Garchomp, who is Cynthia's ace, right? So for a Pokemon that was kind of born this generation, or this series, you know, pretty much, and since Ash doesn't age, it pretty much born yesterday, right? He ends up winning. That's what's kind of not really believable or realistic, but if we let these kind of things slide, I mean, all in all, when you're 10 years old, I mean, you could go do whatever. So like in Pokemon, like I guess Pokemon World, you're an adult when you're 10. So I guess we shouldn't really be surprised at this point when these characters don't age. We're just expected to think this is normal and all that. But I really liked the intensity of Ash vs. Cynthia. The emotion was there, the history was there, the flashbacks, the Greninja moment, the emotional part in the second, the Pikachu nearly going on to sweep the team, and Cynthia like doing something about that. in the first part, and then obviously this fight with Ash Lucario, technically, right? Even though I feel like Journeys has a pretty bad reputation when it comes to realism or growth or development or showing power scaling in a proper and orderly way, an understandable and realistic way. It was a pretty fun fight to watch nonetheless. It's definitely way up there for me. So you guys could post in the comment section below your thoughts and feelings about this episode. I think, thinking back to that Cynthia moment with when she was having the flashbacks too, I really like her design when she was like a challenger or whatever. She has like the gray coat or that she was wearing. I'm like, oh my goodness, she was even good looking then. You know what I mean? And young Cynthia, of course, cute little girl as well. So like, I like those flashbacks, but that kind of brings out the fact that, yeah, they grew for so many years, and Ash and Lucario were just met yesterday, but we're moving past that now. Ash is gonna go take on Leon next. How is he going to win? What is he gonna do? Who's gonna have the good moments? Where's the love and passion gonna be put in this fight? I know the animation is gonna be top tier, and it seems like it's going to be 3 different parts for Leon. So it's going to be a long fight. It's going to be close, even though it probably shouldn't, right? Leon just freaking smacked Alon and Diantha, who are basically both champion-level trainers out in Kalos. So how will Ash stand against that? Are you okay with Ash losing to Leon, given the fact that, dude, I mean, he impressed us by defeating 2 region champions. He defeated Steven, and he defeated Cynthia, who is also considered one of the strongest champions and one of the most loved champions by the audience. Do you think, even if Ash loses to Leon, that you are happy with how things worked out? Personally, I feel like, dude, he fought so hard just to get past Steven and Cynthia. It would almost be all for nothing, though, if he does lose to Leon. I do agree that even if he loses, he's impressed us enough, because both of his fights were barely won. He barely won against Steven, and he barely won against Cynthia. Is he also gonna barely win against Leon? Like, this is tough, dude. Imagine him having to go through this entire tournament again, which technically he has to next year if he ends up winning, right? Or if he wants to come back again. I mean, Lance, for example, came back again, right? It was him and Leon in the finals the previous year, the first time. So if they continue this, then wouldn't Ash have to continue being in the tournament the next time? I wonder what will happen during the Scarlet and Violet series, to be honest. But now we have a bunch of Go episodes coming up next, Project Mew and all that, so hopefully Go gets a good finale for himself as well. Maybe catching Mew would be awesome, I guess, but you need to give, some love. Make sure he doesn't end up like Koharu, who is... We already made a video about that, but it's an absolute waste of a character. Journeys definitely has its problems, but this battle was good. It was pretty good. It's up there. There's some things to nitpick about it, some things to critique, some things I don't like, but it could have always been better. Overall, I enjoyed watching these fights. I enjoyed watching this battle. This battle was fun. And even Cynthia at the very end told Diantha, hey, look, you know what, you're right. I can't quit Pokemon battling. Like, especially since she probably thought that she was the highest, that she was the best, that she was going to win this tournament. There's nothing else to learn. There's nothing else to understand. And she's going to be done. And that's probably what her original thought process was. But then she lost to Ash, and she realized how fun and intense it was. And she's like, you know what? I lost, which means I still have some stuff to learn. Probably, revolving around like plot armor and stuff, that I have to learn how to get the plot armor. That's really kind of what happened here. But yeah, like, this profession of mine is just too much fun. Like, I can't quit. And that's basically what she said to Diantha. We kind of expected her to kind of say this by the end of this fight. It's kind of like the same thing that happened with Faulkner, It's because Ash ignited that passion in his heart, made him realize that Pokemon battles are fun again or something. So the same thing happened with Cynthia. But yes, what a legendary fight. We're going on to see Ash versus Leon, which I hope is even better. Although, it's just, with what Leon has done to the other 2 champions, I'm concerned. Already, the way that Ash has won has kind of been unrealistic or just doesn't make much sense, or he's pulling things out of his butt. So what is gonna happen with Leon? I really wish that Greninja would come back, sensing that aura, and then all of a sudden like coming and joining Ash, and then Ash uses all of his aces, like Charizard, and I can see him winning when he pulls out something like that, where he pulls out something even us audience don't expect. He comes out with a whole new team, not his Journeys team, but a different team. Because look, he used his whole Journeys team against Cynthia and won, and he uses Journeys team against Steven. So why not grab some of your aces? Some of the Pokemon that we've loved and adored in the past for this final fight against Leon, and will actually make a little bit more realistic sense if he wins, right? Because I don't think Leon would expect it. This really would be a surprise, and they're all Pokemon that we know are really, really powerful. I mean, Lucario's up there too now, but Pikachu is still Ash's ace. Pikachu's still the strongest out of all of them. But Lucario, given the feats of this episode, he is now up there among the best, even if it doesn't seem reasonable, given the growth in screen time that we have seen of Mr. Lucario. Especially when he gets slapped around by Greninja's hands and not an actual move, you know what I mean? Anyway guys, you guys could post in the comment section below. That is my thoughts and feelings about the Cynthia versus Ash fight. What a legendary moment that we finally got around to. So post in the comment section below your thoughts and feelings. I love your faces. Make sure you subscribe to me, The Chornik. Also follow me on Twitch and Twitter at The Chornik as well. Next week we got some Go episodes, but I'll see you all in the next one. I love your faces, and peace off. Thank you very much.